Hi everyone, we are back again with a live session to discuss the June month recap and also what's for July. I am Suleman from PrimeXar.
And I'm Sumithra. Today, we'll try to discuss some of the interesting events that happened in June. So, folks, get ready.
So Sumitra,
Hmm?
June was quite a month, wasn't it?
Absolutely, Suleiman. So, if you blinked, you could have missed swing of 100 pips or sudden gold rallies. So, guys, don't worry. We are here to walk you through all of it.
And of course, we'll also share what traders should watch for in July. So are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, type yes in the comment box.
Great. I see the comments and then I see how ready you are. So, without any delay, let us dive in. So, Suleiman, did you see the US dollar? It was dropping in June. So, do you have any idea of what actually happened?
Great question, Sumitra. The dollar index fell over 10% for the first half of 2025.
Mhm.
That's the worst start since the 1970s. But do you know what triggered it?
Let me guess. Mostly due to political pressure, and Trump openly criticized the Fed Chair Powell and even hinted that he might replace him.
Exactly, Sumitra, you guessed it right. And on top of that, they were confusing updates about the tariffs. First they were coming, then they are paused. It kept the market guessing.
Mhm.
And don't forget the economic data. Soft job numbers and cooling inflation made investors think there wouldn't be a hike soon. So which together created a strong selling pressure on the dollar. So viewers, were you expecting this in June already? Let us know with a yes or no. Okay.
Okay.
I can see a lot of comments. Yes, no, that's nice, guys. So now let's switch to gold.
Mhm.
Sumitra, can you share some views about the gold?
Of course, Suleiman, definitely. So I can say that gold hit its ground, mean that it peaked near $3,390 mid-June
Yeah.
when conflict fear rose between Israel and Iran. Okay, then once the ceasefire have come up or that was announced,
Mhm.
the gold slipped back closer to $3,300. Still, I can say that it stayed supported. Why? Because the central banks kept buying
Yeah.
and the investors used gold as a hedge against uncertainty.
I totally agree. Actually, the war was a big news for the market.
True.
And when real yields stay low and inflation isn't fully under control, gold often keep its strength. We saw this live. Do you remember?
Yes, of course. How will I not remember this? Okay, so that was the goal, right? We also understood that the dollar was falling. So when the dollar was falling, what are the other major forex pairs that took the spotlight?
Of course, Sumitra, the Euro USD.
Mhm.
The Euro USD really stood out, rising to 1.17, the highest since 2021.
Right.
Want to guess what helped it? Strong European Union data plus the ECB's rate cut down to 2.25%. The GBP USD also climbed to 1.36, supported by the solid wage growth and exemption from the US metal tariffs.
Mhm.
The Aussie and Kiwi. Australian dollar reached 0.652 and New Zealand dollar moved to 0.60.
Mhm.
Thanks to China's stimulus boosting commodity demand.
Okay, so guys, with all that said, let's not forget that these moves mostly happened because the dollar was weakened. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not because the other currencies that we just discussed have become suddenly stronger.
Yes, that we should remember. But beyond the numbers, June had big global headlines. Didn't it, Sumitra?
Oh, absolutely. And I remember. See, let's understand how. Firstly, the ECB. This surprised the markets with a rate cut, while the Fed stayed cautious. Okay, I just uttered a word said ECB. Okay, so viewers, let us know in the comments if you know what this ECB means.
I think you should break it down for them.
Okay, so let us make it simple. This ECB stands for European Central Bank. Okay, this is the central bank for the Eurozone. This sets monetary policy,
Mhm.
manages inflation,
Okay.
and its decision on interest rate, asset purchases, and other tools can significantly impact the euro and broader global markets.
Okay.
This was the ECB. Okay, now let's move ahead. we saw that the US-China trade talks restart.
Yeah.
So that was a positive
Positive
news for the market, right? Then Canada, it also resolved a tech tax issue with the US that lowered trade tensions. Apart from this, we also mentioned that the Israel-Iran ceasefire reduced panic mid-month, right? So that due to that, the gold demand eased a bit.
Yeah.
This was maybe a brief of what actually happened
Yeah.
in June, right? So, guys, hit the thumbs up if you want us to discuss the July forecast. I see the responses. Okay, great. That's a lot of energy, and then I see people eagerly waiting to understand what is July. Okay, thank you for your responses. Now let us discuss July. Suleman, so
Okay.
what according to you is the biggest risk event that's going to happen in July?
Sure, Sumitra. I think we should focus on the US non-farm payroll.
Mhm.
Only about 129K jobs are expected. If it's weaker, the dollar could face more pressure.
Mhm.
We also have CPI and PCE inflation reports. They will tell us if the tariffs are starting to lift prices. And July 9 is a big date
Okay, why is it a big deal?
because the current pause on new tariff could end.
Okay.
If it's extended, markets may stay calm. If not, expect volatility.
Oh.
So, Sumitra, in this month, you, me, and all the traders really need to stay alert to news and charts.
Yes, that's correct. And thank you very much for explaining. Actually, I see there are a lot of alerts for us in July, don't you think? So, guys, stay focused. Now, Suleiman, see, I want to pause a bit
Okay.
and let us try to explain these important terms that we have just talked in our previous talks.
Okay.
So, we mentioned NFP and
Mhm.
PCE, right? So, let us try to decode them so that they'll know what that actually means. What
Of
do you think?
course, let me explain these terms. The
Okay.
first one is PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, a key inflation measure tracked by the US Federal Reserve. It shows how much prices for goods and services have increased over time based on what consumers actually spend.
Right.
Considered more comprehensive than CPI because it captures broader spending habits and changes in consumption.
Right. That was more about the PCE. And now let's learn about the NFP that we mentioned. NFP means that it is a non-farm payroll. This is a monthly report published by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. This report shows how many jobs were added or lost in the economy during the previous month. Okay, and this includes the farm workers and few other job categories. Now, this report is the major market mover because it signals the strength of the US labor market and can influence the interest rate expectations. So, this is about the PCE and NFP. And I believe after this, you'll be able to relate to these words when you hear them in the news.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Suleiman, for decoding these terms with
Of
me.
course, now they will understand the importance of these reports.
Correct. So, with that, that brings to the end of this session. But before that, let us try to summarize what have we actually learned. So, we understood that in June, why the dollar have dropped. The reasons were one is the political pressure and tariff discussions. Second, we learned about the gold being volatile in June. And also, we learned how the major forex pairs have taken the spotlight. This was June. Coming to July, we caution the traders that we should take care or we should track the US non farm report, the CPI and PCE inflation reports, right? And then, guys, let me remind you real quick about the big date, July 9th. This is when the current pause on the new tariffs will expire. As Suleiman said, that can bring a lot of volatility in the market.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so stay cautious. Now, traders, that is a wrap. We hope this brief explanation of the June and July forecast will help you trade smarter.
And if you found this useful, don't forget to like, share, and follow PrimeXar.
And let us know in the comments what topics you'd like us to cover the next time. Until then,
Trade safe
stay sharp,
and ride the trends.
not fight them.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.